What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the It's Funny podcast. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, we it was because the last couple of weeks there's been pay-per-views, so we haven't been doing the podcast because of that. So we're back. You're back. With another episode. We got a lot of shit to talk about too.
Mhm.
Over the last couple of days, a lot of shit's going on in
Especially the
wrestling.
past couple of weeks, too, if you think
past
about it.
couple of weeks, but honestly, really the last week is what we're really gonna hone in on. But
So,
yeah,
first thing I got on the docket is, I think for those who kind of lived under a rock, John Cena announcing his retirement tour at Money in the Bank.
Yeah. He announced his. Let me tell you in depth what he announced. He announced that 2025 will be his last full year. From January to December, he is working the whole year, barring movie roles and shit. That's what he said. He said barring if there's other movie roles that he takes on or whatever. But from January to December, he will be working WWE, starting from the first episode of Netflix on Raw, or Raw on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Like from that first episode of Raw on Netflix on to December. That's where he's working at. We don't know. We can't really pinpoint when in December he's hanging it up, but it is sometime in December. He is ending his run with the company, retiring, so he can do other shit, and also he's older. It was coming soon anyway. But yeah, that's the in depth plan for Cena and his retirement tour.
Which a lot of wrestling fans are not ready for, goddamn it.
Nobody is ready for it. Like, the only ones that are ready for it are the Cena haters. That's the only ones really happy about this.
Well, I will say this too with Cena, though. We talked about this before. Whether you like him or you hate him, the dude gave us all for over 20 years of service.
I wouldn't say 20 years of service, because he kind of didn't have runs from 2020 one on. He only had like a WrestleMania match every year at that point. But but still, it was to the whole. The guy gave everybody a lot for the last decade and a half, where he was putting his body on the line for our entertainment, and we thank him for it.
100%.
And it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow when we get to December of 2025. But he is on his retirement tour, starting in December, we're starting in January, because of course the rest of the year he is going to do movies. He's going to do like the stuff that he's been doing. I think he's filming Peacemaker season 3.
Yeah,
I think he's filming that for the rest of the year, and then he's
honestly,
no one John. No one expected that. Honestly, at SummerSlam, it probably would have sufficed if he did retire, announce it there. But the thing is, though, I gotta fix this shit. But the thing is, though, I don't think anybody expected a retirement speech in general. Like, no one expected it. They expected Cena to be there, probably interject himself into a storyline, maybe. Not to come right in and say, I'm hanging it up after a year of service. After my next year's up, no one expected it. A lot of people cried. I didn't cry per se. I was bummed out. I didn't cry, but a lot of people did cry. A lot of fans cried. Who grew up watching Cena?
Yeah,
which that's a very credible emotion from that because the guy gave fans everything for the last 20 years. So,
But yeah, that's just kind of crazy, man. You know, it would be nice. I know Cena is a main event type of guy, but it also would be nice if you wanted to send him out on a high note and actually make him a Grand Slam champion. But I don't think that's going to happen.
it's not that's the thing though. If they wanted to make him IC champion, they shouldn't have hotshotted him to the WWE title picture in 05. They should have sent him over to Raw in 05 still and made him go against like Shelton Benjamin or something for the IC
Oh yeah,
belt and then hoist him up to the main event scene. But they wanted him to they saw star potential in him. They wanted him to break the fucking they wanted him to break or to tie Ric Flair's record. And I think the best move really for me is he's tied with Ric Flair for the record for WWE title reigns.
yes.
Have him break it. Have him win that title one more time. Break the record. Break the record. Give him a decent run with the belt. I would say about like 3-4 months with the belt, with that first half of that year, or maybe in the middle of the year, do it. But like, have one more title run for Cena. Have him break that record. Have him break that record. Go out on top. What have you?
100%, 100%. So, but moving on, obviously we saw a couple of free agents sign, especially Stephanie Vacker in particular. Um,
And I
actually,
want and I saw a post and I reposted it on my Twitter. For one, there's been a lot of bitching going on between CML and AEW about this shit. Oh, why didn't or you have CMLL bitching and complaining. Oh, why didn't she put her 2 weeks notice? Why couldn't she wait until after the event we booked her on? Huh?
well, and first things too, like her contract was going to be expired with CMLL anyways.
Like that's the whole thing. Her contract was up. And also, it was her fucking dream to go to WWE. And you guys are bitching about it. And then AEW bitched and complained. Their roster wants to bail her ex out of fucking prison. You know what her ex did to even land himself in prison? Try to murder her. How sick can you fucking be, AEW? How sick can you fucking be?
Mm.
And that's what I saw on Twitter, and that set me off. That really set me off. So I had to rant about it. But on the positive side, congratulations to Stephanie Vacker for getting the nod to go to WWE and chasing that dream, and
Because now it's kind of crazy too. Oh, God, this was what, a few years ago. Like because now when I look back at what we said the last few episodes about a couple of years ago, we kind of sound like hypocrites that WWE was never going to be the place to be for a lot of free agents at the
well,
time.
at that time, we're not fucking hypocrites because at that time it wasn't. At that time, Vince was misusing a lot. You had the Vince McMahon era still. We were still in that. And he
Ugh,
was
yeah.
misusing a lot of fucking talent that shouldn't have been misused. And yeah, is it still necessarily the end all be all? Not really. But it's more likely that it is because a lot of talent go there. They're not afraid to go there anymore and chase that dream. Oh, I want to go to WWE because, there's a lot of great talent there, and that's the big time. It feels like the big time again. If like back when WWE was run by Vince back in from 2016 on, it didn't feel like the major leagues to me. It
Oh
just felt
yeah.
like just another company, but it was just another failing company. Now with thanks, Mom. Thanks. My brother's at the game. My mom said, but back to what I was saying. Um, the back what I was saying though, like back in the later years of the Vince era, it didn't feel major league to me. If you catch my drift,
No, yeah.
like the company didn't feel major league to me. Now it feels more major league than it ever felt like under Vince in the later years. Yeah, in the early 2000s, it didn't feel major league to me. It felt major league in the late 90s. It felt major league in the 80s. Mid 90s, it kind of was like kind of the same deal as like the 2010s, where it was like it didn't really feel major league. So, huh?
But yeah. And
So
speaking
yeah,
of that,
it really didn't feel like major league to me. But now it feels, like it's the pros, man. Feels like the pros. Um, Nobody there's a lot of good talent that aren't being misused. Like, look at Meechin. Like, she's being prominently used on TV again. After when Vince was around, she was put behind a mask, given a shitty faction.
and at the same time too, they also dropped the in even in the
There's a lot of talent that they dropped the ball on. They dropped the ball on Keith Lee. They dropped the ball on Adam Cole.
Adam Cole. Now
When
Mustafa Ali
because Mustafa Ali, they completely dropped the ball on that guy. They
and
fumbled it. They fumbled it in the damn end zone. They fumbled it at the one, Rob, with Mustafa Ali. They fumbled it at the one. And the fact of the matter is, they're not really fumbling as much. Are they fumbling with some people? Yes. Like Tegan Knox, they're kind of fumbling. But at the same time,
you can't push everybody.
you can't push everybody, and I can see why they're so hesitant because of the injury history.
And I think, call me crazy, but I think that's what they're kind of doing with Dakota Kai too. Because remember, she also has a bit of an injury history as well.
But here's the thing, though: she's not fully taken off of TV. She's still prominently used in storyline. She's prominently used, so it's not really that they're misusing her. They're not. They're giving her this story of dissension between Damage Control. They're gonna eat losses. That's the plan for them. They're going to eat losses. The group's going to break up, and they're going to do their own thing. People don't understand that with her. She's supposed to be eating losses because the group is supposed to just die.
Because I mean,
and plus, the group was such a massive fail. The fans weren't buying into it. Even when Bayley was the leader, they weren't buying into it.
And then once Bayley broke away, people kind of got behind her.
People got behind Bayley because, and at the same time too, to add to your point about Bayley, her heel run at that point when Damage Control was a thing, her heel run just got stale. She needed a face turn, and her breaking away from Damage Control was that face turn that revitalized everything with her.
Oh, 100%.
And
now,
yeah, but let's
going on? What is up?
Everything pro wrestling. How you doing?
What is good? Yeah, it because this is how my thinking is.
Right.
Once Damage Control, because I feel Dakota Kai is going to get the same treatment as Bayley, get that momentous push. Because let's be real,
I think the same thing.
Because this faction is really holding back Dakota. Because look, you can have
the
Kabuki Warriors do their own thing.
Holding back everybody in that group. The faction is just holding everybody back because you have Io Sky not really working as a heel that much.
I think she works better as a babyface.
She works better as a babyface. Why the fuck is Kairi Sane heel? Why the fuck is Kairi Sane heel? She works better as a face. Dakota, her heel run is just being flat out fumbled. because she's a great heel. She's been a great heel since NXT, but the problem is she's been heel since NXT.
Oh yeah, Steven, we all
problem.
know that Tiffany. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but Steven, yeah, Tiffany Stratton is going to get a huge push.
I feel like, she's gonna get a
because the way how this her direction's going,
massive push.
I smell championship.
I see it too. But here's the thing with her. The real telling part of Tiffany Stratton getting a huge push. Listen to the crowd every week, man. Every week when she comes out, she can barely even speak because the crowd keeps chanting Tiffy time at her. Honestly, I think they need to turn her face.
I think that's what's going to happen.
She's too loved. She needs to turn face.
Well, 100%.
Like, come on. Even when they're chanting Tiffy time, you can tell on her face she can't hold back a damn smile. She can't. Turn her face.
Steven, as much as I would like that, but the problem is it's there's issues with Raquel and her autoimmune system.
I don't think, but here's the thing with Raquel. I don't think they're gonna bring her back. I think at this point she's basically retired.
Basically. And that sucks too.
It sucks for her because the whole immune system and shit like that. And it also pains me too that when she breaks out, she feels less beautiful. That fucking stung when she said that. I'm like, you're freaking gorgeous. Stop
even with or without makeup, you're
fucking gorgeous.
No, I will disagree to an extent. I think WWE did at least try with Malachi Black.
No, they did not. They did not. Only in NXT they tried. Vince got a hold of him. They turned him into like a story.
Fucking garbage from there.
It was. Hold on, let me finish. Don't cut me off, brother. They sent him to the main roster. They gave him a decent push, U.S. title run. That was good. They didn't turn him into this storyteller, which kind of was a good move. And yeah, I will say you can make a case that they tried a little bit. The problem is they just completely gave up and fired him in the middle of the damn storyline. They just completely gave up and fired him out of nowhere. So
and now we're seeing what kind of
ball because of that.
Now I will say, the one thing I will give AEW some credit for, they actually know how to utilize the storytelling aspect and what he's capable of.
They turned him into this cult leader, and it was really cool. The whole House of Black thing, that was really a cool touch for him. I feel like after they kick Dakota Damage Control, they're gonna put her back with Tegan Knox.
I don't see it.
Here's the thing, I kind of do see it though. I kind of do, because Tegan Knox, she needs something, man.
Yeah,
she needs something. And again, like I said before, I get their hesitation with her. I get it. I get why they're not putting her on TV. But here's the thing. I know you can't push everybody. I know you can't. But some wrestlers just deserve TV time. Do something like we were doing Apollo Crews. Just put him on TV to wrestle. As filler. Who cares? Put it on TV as filler. That's fine. Just give her something 100%. To do. Because he's not sitting at catering all the time. Because that's when they start to get frustrated. That's when they start to get annoyed, and then they leave your company. And that's the whole point with Apollo Crews for a while. I'm happy that they're using him now, but that's what happened with Apollo Crews. He was taken off TV for quite some time. Wasn't being used. He was sitting at catering. Then they put him over to NXT. That kind of revitalized everything. They called him up. Now they're using him again. But there was a time where he wasn't even on TV. And it's the same thing with Cedric Alexander. And the Adonis, or whatever he's called, right? Ashante the Adonis.
Yeah.
They literally teased a tag team on SmackDown. The next week, crickets. Nothing. they don't know what to do with half of this talent sometimes. Like Cedric and Ashante. It's been less of that though, but there's still times where it's like they don't know what the hell to do with certain talent. But it happens.
Catering. Sorry.
Catering, but here's the thing with Omos. He deserves to be a catering. The guy fucking sucks. See, for certain talent, they deserve to be a caterer because the skill isn't there. Omos, he can't move in the ring. He can't hit moves. I mean, he can hit like a choke slam, but that's all he can do is he can hit a choke slam, a half-ass big boot, and that's it. He can't move in the ring. He's not agile, and it just didn't work with him. It just did not work with him. He was not great.
100%.
And that's why he's stuck at catering because he can't get TV time because he doesn't deserve TV time because of his skill.
And the fact the company even signed his ass is mind-bogglingly stupid.
It was Vince. It was Vince McMahon. He likes the bigger guys. Yeah, no mas for Omos. Yes, that's exactly in short of what we're saying. No mas for Omos. I'm telling y'all, Tiffany's going to cash in at SummerSlam. She's going to be champion whether you like it or not. Hell yeah.
I mean, it sounds like that's what they're going to do.
I feel
the way
like,
how they're kind of building
I also
this.
feel like, it's going to enrage Nia Jax to where she turns on Tiffany. And Tiffany Stratton will turn face. And I will be happy about it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because I think Nia as a face, she's kind of meh. But as a heel, man, she's a monster.
It's money.
She's a fucking monster. And that's money. So,
but I
would do that. I would do that. But because again, Tiffany Stratton is just so over with the fans. So goddamn over. You hear it every week on SmackDown. So goddamn over. She's loved by the damn fans. Turn her fucking face.
I mean, should have had a face turn a lot sooner, but that's
not really.
I think that's what they're going to give her. That
she needed to have a proper heel run. She needed
I mean, kind of.
Looks like Charlotte did. We think versus Tiffany Stratton, future booking. Hopefully, fucking not. She needs to stay away from the fucking title picture. Stay the fuck away from the title picture, Charlotte.
You know, I'm going to really say this too. I think another one that should stay away from the title picture for a while, and that's Becky. When she ever comes back.
I think that's why she left for her hiatus, because it's like, yeah, I've been on the main event for so goddamn long, so I need to like take a break, let the other women shine.
You know? Yeah,
but it's not. But it's not like, it's not. But Becky isn't like Charlotte in the sense of like every time she comes back, she has to have a title shot. It's not like that. Charlotte, every time she comes back, she has to be in the fucking main event scene. Or has to be in the women's title shot. Or has to be in the women's title picture. Not every fucking time. And every fucking time, she gets put over. And I don't want Tiffany Stratton to get, beaten by her. And just be just another victim for Charlotte.
Yeah.
So I completely 100%. Disagree. I completely disagree that it needs to be booked that way. It doesn't.
It really isn't. And all the way. So obviously, no SmackDown this past Friday was, was decent. However,
that's the thing. Like I think it was somebody said it in the chat during our SmackDown. SmackDown doesn't need to be phenomenal every week. I forgot who said it.
Yeah. You don't have to rush it.
You don't have to rush it.
You
don't have to really rush it. But again, just like eventually she wins the title, she turns face because the fans love her that fucking much. But anyway, back to what we were saying. SmackDown doesn't really need, SmackDown doesn't really need to be phenomenal every week. You can range it from phenomenal to decent. If it just becomes a complete fucking dud, that's when you have an issue. But this week it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best episode that we saw. For me, it was kind of like
I was
they just won't roll in the comeback. You can hear the crowd chanting Roman every week. I don't think this Bloodline 2.0 is working for everybody. The problem with the Bloodline 2.0 is the fact that they have absolutely zero aura. And what I mean by that, when you have like aura, you make the fans feel something. Like the Undertaker had aura. He had that creep factor when when he walks into the arena, the room goes cold. The room goes cold. The fans get fucking scared. Okay, because it's the Undertaker. He's a dead man. Then you have, Stone Cold when he's like he had that cool factor to him. The badass cool factor. The Rock, he had that Hollywood feel. Like a lot of the talent makes you feel something. That's what aura means. It makes you feel something. When you see the Bloodline 2.0, you see Solo, you just see four dudes. Four Samoan dudes. And I feel like the guy who has like the most, feel to him is Jacob Fatu. That's it. You don't feel shit for Solo. You don't feel shit for Tama Tonga. You don't feel shit for Tongaloa. That's the problem with them. Gimmicks are supposed to make you feel, and they really you don't really feel anything for this. Like when Roman was fucking in the Bloodline, when he was the leader, you had Roman, Solo, Jimmy, and Jay, you felt something because Roman made you feel something. He made like when Roman was champion, it felt like he was the final boss. He was the final boss of a fucking video game.
Yeah, and
like he made you feel like, oh, he's a legit threat. You don't feel like Solo's a threat. You don't really feel like Tama Tonga or Tongaloa is a threat. So Jacob Fatu, he's kind of a threat. But the other three, like, you don't feel like they're a threat. You feel like they're like three doofuses and some crazy Samoan guy. Like, that's all it feels like. It has no feel to it. No one feels anything. And that's why the gimmick is just such a fail. And exactly, John L. I feel like we talked more about Jacob Fatu than any other three.
because
Solo, he just doesn't have it. All this motherfucker does is this. Look at his
thumb and small and spike people. Honestly, I want to say this too. I think he needs to get sent back down to NXT to get some more work done because I think he got rushed away.
Dude, he had more aura on NXT. When he was the babyface and he was like just wrecking shit, we need that Solo.
I mean, shoot, if you think of this too.
Here's the thing. Him as a heel doesn't work. Him as a face, he has so much charisma as a face. As a heel,
100%.
He's dead. He's dead as a heel. That's the problem.
So John Nell says
it's telling because what happened on SmackDown last night, where Jacob Fatu attacked the champs. I feel like we're gonna get and I'm gonna say I call him this because I've known him as this. We're gonna get Gorillas of Destiny versus DIY.
That's what it is. Yeah,
that's where the plan is. Why Solo attacked or why Jacob Fatu attacked him? Just to prove the point. But it's really going to be God and DIY going for the tag titles.
Yeah. But speaking of that, going
to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. Bloodline rules at Bad Blood. I feel like that too. I feel like Bad Blood is big. It's like booked for like the Bad Blood feuds. Like we're gonna get Liv and Rhea. We're gonna get the Bloodline stuff, like the Bloodline Civil War thing. We're gonna get what's other Bad Blood feud?
I think
But those are the only two that I know had like really have bad blood. I thought we were gonna get Chad and Sammy at Bad Blood, but we're not getting that anymore because that feud's been axed for the White Six stuff, which I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because White Six, that'd be cool. We're probably gonna get like Uncle Howdy versus Chad, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe at Bad Blood. I don't know. Because Bad Blood's
Right,
all the way in
Punk and Seth.
October.
That's going to
Oh,
be a bad blood.
Punk and Seth, yes. We're
Oh
getting
yeah,
that
that's
Bad
going to
Blood.
fucking cook. That's for
Oh,
sure.
that's gonna freaking hit. Oh, dude. And there's legitimately bad blood there. They fucking hate each other, legit. Like, out of TV and out of storyline, they fucking hate each other. So they had to turn it to a storyline.
But
Finn and Damien, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with Finn, speaking with Finn though, he actually that's kind of my next point because he did share that his lowest point in his pro wrestling career, and this was from a couple of days ago. But like and this is from Wrestling Inc. Sorry, I got like two different like news sources. Sources. I don't know why I said sources. But credit to LJ who wrote this a few hours ago. Pretty much Finn said this, I quote, I haven't said this publicly ever, but the 2 months before I turned heel was probably the lowest I've been in my career with respect to personal investment. I was just like showing them, and I was like, yeah, who do you want me to lose to today? Jesus.
Here's the
thing.
Here's the thing. I think the heel turn helped them. With like the whole thing with Judgment Day and stuff, but like that 2-month window when he was on Raw as a placeholder, like he was U.S. champion for like 30 days before he lost it to Damian Priest, and it was just like they have no direction for this guy. That 2-month window on Raw where they just did not book him properly, they had no direction for him. But then Edge came around, started Judgment Day, put him in it, and it was just guns blazing after that. So thank Edge for that.
Oh, 100%.
He revitalized everything with him. And then the whole thing with Judgment Day now, like it revitalized his career.
And we're going to see his and honestly, the kind of Finn Balor we're going to get once he kicks Damien out, I think we're going to see I would say Fergal Devitt from New Japan, that type of style where he just going to
I don't think we're getting that. No.
Well, and the way how Finn's kind of
we thought when Shinsuke turned heel, we're gonna get the rock star Shinsuke. No, we got the guy who kept fucking low blowing AJ every week.
And speaking of Shinsuke though, he's another guy I kind of feel bad for.
Let me finish my thought. You're misreading the whole entire situation because it's like, oh, they're gonna be New Japan style again. They're not. It's still the WWE style. They're gonna book them how they want to book them. They're not going to book him like a New Japan star. It's a different company, different feel.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what people don't get about, wrestling. Like, people are calling AJ Styles washed, but he goes over to Japan. He looked like New Japan AJ.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that.
The fact that's the first time he's wrestling it. That's the first time he's...
The first time he's wrestled in Japan since 2014.
Yeah, 8
freaking years. 8 years.
8 or 9 years, and my math was done.
8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, they expected when AJ signed for him to be New Japan AJ. TNA AJ, maybe. But like it's more so TNA AJ because again, you can't expect a Japanese wrestler to be a Japanese, to be booked like a Japanese style, like with the Japanese style.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when they come to America and work for WWE, they get Americanized. That's how it is in wrestling. They get Americanized. That's why you have, you know, like Okada has a different feel than he did in New Japan because he got Americanized. Io Sky has a different feel than what she is in, Japan because she got Americanized. It's different. It's a different feel. And that's a
Yeah,
fucking crime. That's a fucking crime too. Like
and that was
ever
another thing
since,
too, that
hold up.
if it
Ever
weren't for
since
that shoulder injury,
I was gonna say that, but you jumped the gun every time, bro. You gotta let me speak, brother. Um, but yeah, it's like, ever since that shoulder injury in 2016 at SummerSlam 2016, it was just like they're too scared to put him in that picture. Or they're not scared to put him in the picture. They're scared to have him win it in fear that he's going to get hurt again. Well, guess what? Ever since his injury, I don't think that guy's been hurt.
no, he's been pretty
So,
much been
but
healthy.
he's been pretty much been healthy since 2016. That injury, which honestly, it was kind of his fault because he threw his arm back in that spot that
Yeah,
broke his arm. But here's the thing, though. He's worked through that. He's gotten healthier. He stayed safer on his own body. So
I
book him
mean,
to be a world champion again. Give him a
there
proper.
is a saying, the only way to get better is learn from your mistakes, and that's kind of what Finn did
He learned from his
over the
mistakes.
last.
Like I look back at that footage. I'm like, yeah, I can see why he blames himself because he threw his arm back and broke his arm. And you know he should be booked better than that. Like you don't. He's reached the glass ceiling because of that damn injury, and it's mid card.
Yeah,
It's mid card. He has been stuck in the mid card. He has never surpassed it since
yeah,
2016.
which is
He surpassed
kind
it
of set.
once. He surpassed it once just to get beaten by Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
And for
and
we go, oh, he's not the right guy. Let's put his partner, Damian Priest, in the picture and have him win it. Like what? Like I get Damian Priest deserves it too, but you could have had fucking Finn win the damn
at
thing.
least give him, at least
At least give him a
redeem him.
transitional. Here's the thing. At least give him a transitional fucking reign. Like just make him a champ,
Yeah,
world champ.
unfortunately. And like I said,
Unfortunately,
I do feel bad for Finn. I still do,
I feel
despite his
bad for him
booking.
too because when he came back, in 2016 from that injury, I'm like, all right, Finn, you got to run it back. You got to run it back. Never did. Never ran it back because of the booking. Never ran it the fuck back. I was hoping here's how I would book it in 2016. I would have had he got hurt. I would have created like a redemption arc story.
Yeah, I
Where
would agree
he
with
does
that.
start in the he does start in the mid card. He would start in the tag team picture with somebody, and then have that person turn heel. He is in a little program with it, and he would climb the ranks, slowly climb the ranks back to the world title scene. And then once he gets to the world title scene, boom, make him a world champion.
I agree.
That's how I would do it. That was how I would do it. Make it like a redemption arc story.
And unfortunately, WWE at the time didn't see it that
They
way.
didn't see it.
Which
They saw, oh, he got hurt. We're like too scared to book him in the main title scene because he might go overboard again and break his own arm again. Like, no, give him
that's also true too, Steve. And that's a good point too. Since that top rope, whatever they did, God, was that
here's the laughably bad part of that whole fucking thing. With that spot. It was the fact of the matter is they did that spot for no fucking reason. There was no story progression on why the fucking rope broke. They just did it for no reason. And they came out and admitted it was a planned spot. So you weren't just going to address what the fuck happened after?
I guess
You were
not.
just gonna go,
Apparently,
the rope broke, whatever. It was just an excuse for them to just keep booking Finn poorly. It was just an
and
excuse.
well, Tyler, not just that. Well, that too, and that's the same time. That moment is pretty much when the Demon Finn Balor pretty much died on the
It was
spot.
already dead with the losing streak. It was already dead.
And it really, but it's
And like as soon as the rope break spot happened where the rope broke and shit, that is where it officially died, because I don't even want Demon Finn back. That's the problem. When you make me not want Demon Finn back, you're fucked. You're fucked. You fucked with the gimmick too much, and you ruined it. You ruined it, and it pains me because in NXT, or Finn's first run in NXT, Demon Finn was an absolute fucking beast. You had regular Finn. He was a kind of a beast, but when he became that Demon Finn, boom, second gear. But then you had regular Finn be good, you know, a great wrestler who often gets wins. You made Demon Finn a fucking jobber.
yeah, and that really pissed everybody
You
off.
made Demon Finn a damn jobber. You made regular ass Finn a winner, but you made Demon Finn a jobber. He had no wins under that damn gimmick, none. And then you completely killed the gimmick when you did the rope break spot for no damn reason.
It's it's ridiculous.
Like there, like there are times where Triple H does piss me off, and that was one of those times where Triple H pissed me off.
Which that's kind of
Because
shocking
this
to
was during
say.
the, I think no, was this under Vince or was this under? I think
What are you
this was
talking
under
about
Vince though.
the top?
The rope,
Are you
the
talking about
top
that
rope
top
spot,
rope thing?
the top rope
Yeah, that's a
spot.
Vince call.
That was a Vince call. That was one of the moments where I'm like, yeah, Vince is cooked as on creative. He's cooked.
See, even we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that match.
But
Bray Wyatt and Demon.
oh no,
Yeah,
yeah, we don't talk about that match. But you know what
yeah, we don't
other
talk
match we
about
don't
that.
talk? I forgot about that match, so I'm not even gonna fucking talk about that. But you know what match really pissed me off, and I am gonna talk about it under the Vince match. Or under the Vince regime. When you really think about the Fiend Bray Wyatt, Hell in a Cell, him and Seth Rollins.
We don't talk about it either.
How the fuck do you win that match in a DQ? In a no DQ match?
That really that's like contradicting yourself. I don't entirely know.
How the you even had X-Pac pissed off on a watch along on your YouTube channel?
Yeah,
He said it too. He said, "How the hell do you book this to have a DQ finish when it's a no DQ match?"
I mean, yeah,
And that was another instance where I knew Vince McMahon was cooked as a writer. He can't write for shit. Because he completely contradicted his own fucking match type.
not just contradiction. Like he had like last minute writing changes, and there was a lot of reports coming about to say, oh, then like there was one script already written. And Vince tore that up and rewrote it. And we don't know how that was.
John L, I wonder why he says he doesn't bring that out like he used to. It's because the company treated that gimmick as a fucking
Like
jobber
shit.
gimmick. He treated it as a jobber gimmick. Every single time he was Demon Finn Balor, he lost. Whether it was when he had, even when he had like a title or something, like the IC belt or something. Once he brought out Demon Finn Balor, you knew he was losing that night. And I understand why he doesn't want to bring that gimmick back. I completely understand. Completely.
Yeah, and that really does suck too, because I mean, I it really does. It really does suck.
And
And
it pays. And I will bet. I will go to bat for Finn Balor all
I think
day.
everybody will, because I feel like Finn's just one of those guys that's like, I mean, look, the dude's a great technical wrestler in his own right,
There's a
but
tremendous
his
wrestler in
book,
general. Like
yeah, you know
he
what,
has
actually,
like this
yeah,
like he has like this hybrid of like high flying with the coup de grace and all this other stuff with technical, which I love. Mixing styles. Like it's great.
oh, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Of course, my fucking tablet shuts off. So we talked about we barely touched on Roman a little bit because obviously we've seen a lot of the last few shows that you know it seems like what's going to happen is like we do have a report that Roman Reigns is going to come back to TV soon. It said they pretty much said it's either going to be at SummerSlam or before SummerSlam. It's like,
I think
and
I think as marquee as that man has become over the last few years, it can't be on a random Raw before SummerSlam. It can't be. It's got to be at the pay-per-view. It's got to be at SummerSlam. It's got to be because
it's also kind of funny too. And talking about
he's too
Roman
marquee.
too.
He's too marquee.
Yeah, good lord! If you told us what in 2016 that this dude's going to be,
One of the
the main
top
event.
heels, and he and for him to be such a top heel that when he leaves the company for because of the whole cancer thing and him taking a break because he was overworking himself for 3 years.
Well, that and also too, his father passed away,
And
so he took
his father passing, and that happened like during the hiatus though. But really, the real reason of the hiatus was the cancer thing. He wanted to manage it and just take a break, which I respect. Because he announced that after his title loss at Mania that he was going to take a break. He's going to recoup because he overworked himself for 3 years. He was on TV a lot. He was traveling a lot. And with cancer, it really does like hinder your body.
Yeah,
when you're traveling a lot and stuff like that, it does hinder you. But he took a break. We were understanding, and then who would have thought? Who would have fucking thought that nowadays during this hiatus, Roman is over, and we're chanting at shows, "We want Roman."
and the babyface pop he's going to get,
and dude, I know he's going to get a fucking massive ass pop when he returns. But who would have
and
thought?
I'm going to say this
Hold up, let me finish. Who would have thought? Because back in 2015, nobody liked that guy. No one liked him in 2015. And then 2018, when the whole cancer thing happened, we did show him a little bit of love because no one deserves fucking cancer. But even when he came back, from the cancer thing, we started booing him again because he was overbooked again. And then the heel turn happened, and then he was being booked prominently. We weren't booing him. But then we're like, oh shit, he's a great ass heel. This character's working for him. He gets over as a heel for 3 years. And now we love this guy on TV. We want this guy back on our TVs as a face. I'm going to say this right now. Basically, this guy has the same career trajectory as The Rock.
Yeah. And yeah.
Because before Rock turned heel for the first time in 97 and became The Rock, he was hated. Virtually hated.
Yeah, right. Oof. And yeah, the fact that this had Die Rocky Die in 1996.
He had legit death threats. And then he turned heel 97, joined a fucking faction. Sound familiar? Sound fucking familiar? He joins a fucking faction. He becomes the leader in 98. dominates 98. The group descends and stuff like that, and he becomes like a top babyface later in 98, and it's the same thing because Roman hated, albeit he wasn't getting death threats because we know that's fucking stupid now. And it was like during like it was in the politically correct era, so we can't really give out death threats, which was even back then it's fucking stupid. But then he turns heel. He starts a faction, gets over, and now we love him. We want him as a top babyface. He's basically the second coming of The Rock. In that regard.
say, I was going to say this too. I think the little hot take. I think he's going to be much better than The Rock, quite honestly. And that really kind of, and this is coming from someone who's
in terms of longevity, the situation, like in terms of longevity, he's better. In terms of like in-ring work, he's better. And of course, you can say, oh, all he ever does is Superman punches and spears. When they want to book him like an actual wrestler, he actually can wrestle. The problem is they booked him to just do a billion spears and like a billion Superman punches at times. Yeah. But now he is. But the thing is, though, he is so fucking over. No one thought that was going to happen in his career in 2015. No one.
Not at all.
Fast forward to 2024, it's happening.
Well, it's hard. Here's another thing too. Like he's another guy you don't see pulling a submission move out of his back pocket when he gets back into a corner. That's another thing too. That's also the improvement in all the skill set is added some.
Like he's creative with it. Like sometimes he could just be standing there, like you're doing the boo yes spot. Next you know he's putting your ass in a Kimura in the middle of the ring.
I think it was like a front guillotine choke.
Oh yes, the guillotine. Yeah, like he literally just like hits it or puts you in the guillotine in the middle of the fucking ring standing.
I mean that the only time I would say he, like I said, that he pulls it out is when he gets back into a corner when he has no last resort. That's kind of like
I feel like that's the majority of like that spot is just like when he's back into a corner or backed into the ropes.
Yeah,
so to speak. Like he puts you in the guillotine and you have to forcefully let go of the rope or forcefully, move back and try to get out of it. But yeah, but again though, like no one thought in 2015 this guy was gonna get over.
Yeah, that's absolutely
true.
No
one thought it.
So we got one more WWE topic before we kind of get to some AEW stuff. But Chelsea Green kind of talked about that, saying that
Green. Sorry, I had to do
it. Chelsea Green did say that WWE introducing secondary women's titles would be a game changer, and to be fair, she kind of is right on that front.
She is, because more women in the women's division will get utilized. We will see more 100%. We'll see more of the Tegan Knoxes, the Sonya Deville,
Dakota Kai,
Dakota Kais. We'll see more of those women. We're not going to see like the same 5 women that we've always been saying.
Hell, throw Mia Yim in the fucking mix too.
Mia Yim's going to be in that fucking picture for sure. She's going to be in there. And also, look at NXT. You can call those women up.
Yeah,
some of those women up because that roster is incredibly deep, and it's gotten deeper with the signing of Stephanie Baker and Julia.
Yeah, and the fact is, we're still waiting on the debut of Julia in NXT.
She's finishing up her date in Marigold in Japan.
Speaking of that, because I know, Tyler, you've watched that match between Io Sky and Utami.
I stayed the fuck up. I'm like, I missed either of those matches.
Kudos to you.
I stayed the fuck up. I'm like, yeah, I'm up anyway. I was like staying up anyway. I'm usually like a night owl.
You're more of the night owl than I am.
So I stayed up and I watched both the Io Sky Utami match and the AJ Styles Naomichi Marufuji match. I stayed up watching both. Well, I only saw the ending of the Marufuji match. Heard it was a great match. I looked at the highlights. That was not WWE AJ. That was Japan AJ.
Oh yeah.
It was hard hitting. They were like trading kicks. They were trading punches. They were doing all these cool spots. Io Sky, she looked comfortable and happy being home, and I love it for her. I love it. You know,
And yeah, because look, for me, I
and
couldn't watch it
she had
because.
a banger match too. Her and Utami killed it. And
And
I
funny
feel
note too,
like
that's her former.
Utami is another one that WWE needs to watch out for, because
And that's kind of funny too,
she's a
because
tremendous talent. And
funny enough, Utami was a former stablemate of with Io Sky when Io was wrestling in Japan.
that's why Utami asked Io if she wanted to face her, because they're
Ooh.
friends. They're legitimately friends because they were in that faction. This was, and they basically made Io Sky into a face in Japan. Same thing with
Yeah.
AJ. AJ wasn't heel AJ that we know in WWE. Like, and Io isn't heel Io when it came to those matches, because it was a different entity, different company, what have you. So there wasn't going to be continuity there. It was a one-off match for both competitors. There didn't need to be
Now,
continuity. But you really had, it was basically babyface versus babyface with Io
yeah.
and Utami, which I loved because they're friends. They wanted to face each other. They had mutual respect. After the match, I kind of put two and two together because the promo was in Japanese, but WWE got name dropped. It was Io thanking Utami after the match, thanking WWE for allowing this to happen.
Oh yeah,
I put two and two
100%.
together. I don't know Japanese, so I don't know if I'm close, but it was pretty much like her thanking Utami and WWE for the opportunity after the match. She cut a promo about it.
Call me crazy. If WWE decides to bring over Utami, call me crazy. I do. Oh God, I don't know. This sound. Look, I may go on a fucking limb on this one. I think this could be you and I can agree to disagree. For some reason, I can see Utami be a part of the Black Lotus with Io and Kairi Sane.
Honestly, no. I don't want back Black Lotus, because the thing is with that, Rob, I don't like Kairi as a heel. I don't like her as a heel. She's not fit to be a heel. She's fit to be a face, not to be a heel. But the thing is though, I would love to see Utami in WWE after what I saw from her this morning. Not really last night, but this morning. It was good stuff. They killed it. They absolutely killed it.
Now the question is, where do you put her if she does come over?
If you're gonna make like the mid card, put her in the mid card. Put her in the mid
Well,
card
I know
right
that.
now.
What brand? I'm talking about Raw or Smack.
It depends on what title that they're going for. It's probably going to be split up. Probably be like the women's IC belt is going to be on Raw, and the women's US title is going to be on SmackDown. I will put her in the IC belt. So Raw. I will put her on Raw.
It's kind of funny too, because I actually want to go back to because this actually just still kind of ties into what Chelsea Green kind of talked about. But she actually appeared on the Matchman show. She noted that it said it was long overdue and it would be a game changer for the women's division. Rightfully so, because let's be real. I think because the fact is you got a tag division, which I still need, is still a work in progress.
Which they're getting there. They're getting there. Because I've seen
they're getting there.
There's been some matches on Raw. It's like every week they're doing like a tag team number one contenders match, in a sense. Like, I'm seeing more of Kaden and Quintana. I'm seeing more of them. We haven't seen that much of them in the Vince era. We're seeing more of Indian Candice. We're seeing more of them. We're seeing more of all the, like, even though they're not over, we're seeing more of them. And
that's the thing.
Like, we're seeing more of the women. Like look at now you have Maxine and what's her face? Well, now they're not tag team because they're teasing them turning heel. They had for a short time they had Maxine and Ivy Nile. They had that. They really are working on the tag division there.
Because this is the way I look at it. If I'm Triple H, I would like kind of would study what team, because I feel like for me, and this also applies to TNA too, because it's kind of we'll go back to what
the thing though, Big D. Here's the thing, Kyrie as a heel, it's my opinion. For me, it just doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work. But really though, like her with Asuka, yeah, it kind of worked. But they were so over, they were only heel for like a month. They were only heel for a month because they were still beloved. When a true heel, fans have to loathe them. They have to hate their guts. Like a Dominic Mysterio. People fucking hate his ass. Or who else? Roman for a little bit. They hated him before he became respected, and after his match with Cody at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent that get booed because they're heels, and that's what the plan should be. If they're a good heel, is they're getting booed. If they're not getting booed, they're not that great as a heel. That's my opinion, though. You got yours. I respect yours, but that's why I disagree.
But like I said too, and before we got
though, Damage Control fucking sucks. That gimmick.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing I think most can agree on.
Everybody agrees with
that.
But
like I said, now if I'm Triple H and the creative team, because I know, like I said, there is potential with this women's tag division. If I'm the creative team and Triple H, I would look at TNA and how they do their knockouts tag division.
I think that's I think that's what they're doing.
Because
ever since, I had a burp. But ever since the TNA partnership, I feel like Triple H has been keeping a close eye on that knockouts tag division, because if he didn't, why is the WWE tag division a bit better than it was under Vince? I'm just saying. And plus, unlike Vince McMahon, he does like tag teams. He does like tag teams. Like look at the men's tag team division. That's infinitely better.
Even though tag team wrestling I would say, like I said, there's a lot of good teams. It's just the execute. I would say
they're just not used.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're just not used. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, look at the women's tag division. If you're all of a sudden knowing who Kane and Quintana is, if you're all of a sudden know who Indy and Candice are, if you're understanding who Ivy Nile and Maxine are, like,
or Isla Dawn and Alba Fire,
for that matter. Alba Fire, they just won the tag belts. They were fresh and new when they won that damn shit. And when in the Vince era, they were not even used.
Not even at all, but they killed it for the NXT Women's Tag Division. TV.
Like that's the whole thing. They weren't even hurt. They weren't even hurt. They were just not being fucking utilized. And that's the thing, though. You have fresh new teams winning. You know what? I kind of do respect them putting the belts on them. I did think it was. I was pissed off because I wanted Jade and Bianca to retain, and I thought it was out of pity because of the whole thing with Alba Fire's mom, and the fact they're home in Scotland. But over time, I'm like, all right, their reign isn't terrible.
Hey, because we're trying to build new stars. Because
they're building new stars. They're building new stars, and I'm
look, because Bianca's already a star. Same with Jade.
Ryan, I don't want to talk about that today. I don't want to talk about that. Leave politics
out,
brother.
Going back to Chelsea Green, though, she did say this on the Max Man show, saying, quote, I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, because I don't know. I only saw it on the internet. Whatever you guys are reading, I'm also reading too. I'm hoping and praying that's true. Any more spotlights on the women can get will be amazing. Well, that's
exactly.
That's complete facts. But I do think it is long overdue. It's another step in the right direction. Absolutely, because let's be real, the women's division it's going to be a long ass road in terms of
It
repairs.
had been lackluster. It had been lackluster under Vince,
Because
especially in
Vince
the
says,
later years, around 2020 to 2022.
yeah,
You know what the women were doing in 2020?
I
I
don't
remember
know.
this. I remember this pissed me off so much when I heard the announcement that I didn't even watch that SmackDown. Four of the women vying for the damn the women's title, were in a random ass segment where they were singing karaoke on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think I remember that. That was just fucking
I did
bad.
not watch that SmackDown because I'm like, yeah, Vince has lost it. And that whole
But
episode, lo and behold, was just shit. So I was glad I missed it.
so she also says, so Chelsea Green also says, I didn't think this could happen 2 years ago. Now I'm like, of course it's happening. It has to happen. Now that's on the internet. We need this to happen. Obviously, I would think it'd be amazing to showcase the women that could be champions in the future. But maybe we don't see them in that light right now. But we may see them as floaters, or maybe they haven't locked down their character, or maybe they are a funny girl. Maybe me. Yeah. I mean,
Emphasis on the funny girl because she's fucking hilarious on TV every week. She cracked me up this past Friday as the background. She was throwing a hissy fit.
it's
It was
like getting
funny.
it back a little, and it
It's
has
like,
a bejeweled fucking neck
stomping her
brace.
foot like a fucking Karen. Throwing a little
But
hissy fit. Like it was like Chelsea Green as a comedy act is hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. So the funny girl thing,
it
I
is.
agree.
But I will say this too, though. She really impressed. Look, we know Chelsea Green can wrestle. If you have not watched her time in TNA,
Oh, she can. She can go. She can scrap with the best of them. She can
and
scrap.
I will say, I'm not kind of shocked that she was impressive in the Money in the Bank ladder match, this past PLE, but I think I might have saw something with the creative direction with her. Yeah, she may be funny, but I've noticed like her booking is starting to improve slightly.
It just shows that you can utilize comedy acts in the main event scene. You can do that. Like look at
I mean,
AEW. They made a comedy wrestler a champion with Orange Cassidy.
which
That went over
still
well.
will never understate the hate for, which is
That went
stupid.
over well because the fans love that booking. The thing is, you can utilize.
Okay.
That's one of AEW strong points is they can utilize comedy acts and make them champs. Look at Tony
I know the
Storm.
WWE did it.
Look at Tony Storm. They straight up used Tony Storm is a fucking comedy act.
I mean, despite the fact
With
she
this
got
new
fucked up by
1920s, with this new 1920s gimmick that she's been doing. But
it's fantastic.
But it's fantastic work. The fans are into it, so they push her. The fans are into
Despite the
Chelsea
fact
Green.
that,
Now with WWE,
yeah, despite the fact,
with WWE,
yeah, despite,
hold up, let me
oh
finish.
god,
Hold up, let me finish. But with Chelsea Green, the fans love her so much as this like Karen character.
because like we all can relate to
She's being
that.
utilized properly. That's all we want.
Because if I'm not, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think Chelsea Green was under the Triple H regime down in NXT. If my memory serves me right, no, or was it after for Chelsea Green?
Was she in NXT? Yeah, she was. No, what you mean when she got released the first time?
The first time.
No, it was this bullshit where she got called up as a babyface, which was a good move because she was over as a face. She breaks her arm in a match. The next day, she was fired.
Oh Lord!
On after that SmackDown aired, the next day she was fired. I'm like, well, that was fucking bullshit. You didn't even do anything with her. She breaks her arm one time and then you fire her.
Which, yeah,
it was under the Vince. It was under the Vince regime. He was senile as fuck. But
again, now I think Triple H is understanding like,
and she's
comic characters can work.
Characters can get over. It can work. Yeah. You can even make her. You can make her a cocky ass world champion too, like a women's champion.
I mean, sure.
Like,
good Lord.
Like make her even more high and mighty as a Karen when she's like the women's
champion. Oh yeah, and put more nuclear heat on her. Oh, for sure.
It's money. Like I can see where they're going with this, and I love that they're doing it.
Hell, I mean, shit. Triple H pretty much saved Piper Niven in a sense too.
Piper Niven was D-drop. It's fucking stupid.
fucking Vince, but that's besides the point. But I'm kind of glad that Chelsea Green is finally they're giving her actually some proper booking. Yes, I know it's going to take some time. It's scratchy, yeah, but I do because, like I said, go back to that Money in the Bank, women's lending the Money in the
And
Bank,
she
and the
killed
lead
it.
up to that.
Fucking
Her
killed
book,
the booking
killed it for what?
And here's the thing: I know somebody told me when this gimmick first became a thing, let him cook. This could work, because I said this gimmick was dead on arrival when she became that character.
I think everybody did.
And no, not everybody, because everybody was like, "All right, this gimmick is funny." Only me. I said the gimmick wasn't gonna work. I take everything that I said months ago when this gimmick became a thing. I take it all fucking back.
Because
I was wrong. I want to admit that I was wrong. I'm happy that I'm wrong.
Now, I will say this too. I can see this, like, say, down the road. I would not be surprised if we see a repackage to her as Laurel Van Ness. I would not be surprised if Triple H will bring that back, down the road when the time calls for it.
Vince fired him. But the thing is, though, Triple H doesn't have a say in re-signing anybody. He did that. He did it on numerous occasions, though, because he undercut people. He undercut Vince on a few occasions, right? Because remember Drake Maverick?
Yeah,
when he got fired from WWE.
Yeah,
Triple H undercut him. He gave him a few matches on NXT as like a redemption storyline because he was planning on re-signing him to NXT.
Because this is
but then he goes up on the main roster, gets fired again. So it was.
Because here's the thing with Drake Maverick, the one thing I've always respected about him. Well, there's two things. One, the fact he had the testicular fortitude with, like, let's be real, the smoking hot wife that he has. How the fuck did the fact he held back from
women love funny dudes. That man is funny.
But he's also charismatic. A lot of people don't really understand how charismatic
and also
Drake Maverick, aka Rockstar Spud, really was.
And also, if you make him a serious wrestler like they did when he was in the cruiserweight when he was in the cruiserweight division in NXT, when that got moved to NXT because people didn't care about on the main roster, and they gave him this like redemption arc story, he was more serious than before, and he worked his ass off with that, and he was entertaining. He doesn't always have to be funny. But that goes to show, like with Triple H, you can book comedy acts as serious competitors half the time.
And
Chelsea Green, they did that.
Funny enough, since we're talking about Drake Maverick, he's with the company, but this time he's a writer for the company on Monday Night Raw.
Wait a fucking minute. Really?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, Google it.
I'm Googling this shit.
What's going on, old guy?
Oh yeah, he is.
Why do you think?
Hell yeah, Drake. Oh yeah, Drake Maverick. Hell yeah, man. And the fact that this man has written good fucking storylines as well. You mean to tell me, Rob, Drake Maverick is the reason why Raw is cooking lately?
And the fact we're going to see
Drake Maverick. Yo, dude, you're killing it. You're killing it, my friend. You're killing it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad that he's still in the company in some capacity. Now,
Triple H likes
moving on to a little bit of AEW, because there's not really much going on. First things first, CG Perry is gone from the company.
Now, here's the thing with that. I'm gonna explain to you why I think she was fired, right? And it's probably true. What really first started this thing is the fact that her and Miro broke up and divorced. They were in this thing where, she was booked to go against him, in a sense. Also, it didn't really help the guy that she was managing. Andrade left the company. So the storyline got scrapped, along with the divorce of her ex-husband now. Everything just like the cards just fell. I don't think it was more so
Yeah.
AEW's fault or CJ's fault. It was nobody's fault why she got released. Nobody's. So I don't blame anybody. I think the cards just fell, and they didn't have anything else to do with her. So they just let her go. Which, again, it was nobody's fault. In my opinion, at least. It was nobody's fault. And also, it also didn't help the fact that she started dating Damian Priest during all this.
Yeah.
And yes, if y'all didn't know, her and Damian Priest are dating.
At the same time, too, I would say probably one of the best friends. And like just seeing what CJ's all about, and when you look at her out. Hold up, let me fix that. Actually,
No, I fixed it. I accidentally turned off my mic. I fat fingered the fucking cam button. Trying to look at the chat.
But yeah, like I was said, if you guys have not followed her on social media and see what her outside personal life is like, she's a fun person to be around, and
She's
obviously,
hell, she's one of the reasons why. What's her face?
JoJo.
Yeah, she's one of the reasons why JoJo is trying her best to get through this grieving process, because her CJ is a quality ass friend.
Hell,
And Liv.
there's another person you can throw in there too, and that's Liv.
Yeah, her and CJ Perry and Liv Morgan are quality ass friends to her, and I love it. And CJ, you as a person, amazing.
Because it's
love you as a person.
Like it's I don't know, like Joe.
And also, before you contemplate whatever happened to her and Miro, it was a mutual split. It was mutual.
Oh yeah,
we all knew it was mutual. They just thought they worked better as friends. Happens,
which is fine, you know.
But
I was going to say this too, though, and I don't know, haven't really seen. I think also it's, and just seeing JoJo, and still, I feel fucking like my heart fucking hurts.
Dude, every time I see a picture of her, it could be just a random ass picture of her meeting a fan, and my heart breaks.
It really does.
In a way, if you look at her eyes, you can see the sadness still. You can see.
But the fact that
her eyes,
I think also
her eyes are a little bit baggy, like she got done crying and shit. You know, like you can see the sadness still, even though she's trying to be happy.
Like, which, even though it's been months since Bray passed, and still has not fucking set in.
But again, though, grieving doesn't end with people when they die.
And like I said, credit to freaking Liv and CJ. I think also Samantha Irving actually went out with them too, if I'm not mistaken too.
Samantha Irving also went out with them, but we already knew Samantha Irving was a quality human. That's the thing. She's a good friend too. But yeah, CJ, great person. TK is like
I'm interested.
When they do, they only. But here's the thing. With TK, right? TK doesn't have riders. That's one of the issues. Also, look what happened with 2019 on to 2022, 2023, or what have you, right? They overinflated the roster. That's the problem. And I understand why. And now I understand why Vince McMahon made roster budget cuts from 2020 on. Because he overinflated the roster. I understand that aspect of it now. You can't overinflate your roster because you can't use all of them. You only have so much allocated time for TV. You tried to make 2 shows to help that. It still didn't fix it because guess what? Again, you only have allocated time for TV.
Yeah, 100%. But
He overinflated the roster. I think that's the problem. And that's also, and I don't agree with that either, because TK, he can make some decent storylines at times. Look at the Tony Storm thing with the whole Mina Shirakawa thing.
Mm.
It was meant to be funny, and it was funny and shit like that. There are some dud storylines that they've made, like the whole. I feel like even though it was a good heel turn, they fumbled Julia Hart's heel turn, because it would have made more sense for her to spray the mist at the Varsity Bros.
Oh yeah.
It would have made more sense there. It would have hit a little bit harder, not just at a random tag team.
Out of the way, she's still, even though Julia Hart's
It
still
was
killing
still
it
a
as a
great
heel
heel
now.
turn. She is a great ass heel. Not gonna lie.
At least it didn't hurt her from a character
It didn't
perspective.
hurt any, but the booking was kind of questionable. He does make questionable booking decisions at times. He does. That's why we were out of AEW for like the longest time before we came back to it, or decided to. Because the booking, it's hit and miss with TK. It's hit and miss. He needs writers.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like he's letting the roster run around with her with like headless. They're headless chickens.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know? And that was the problem with that whole thing. And then the whole CM Punk thing went down, and for some reason he allowed the EVPs to have a bright idea to air the footage, which came out to be a bull-faced
absolute
fucking lie
bullshit
to what they were trying to tell. That hurt him a bit. But yeah, AEW just needs to know when to say no to some stories. That's the thing.
because look, and I would say this too: if they had brought on a writing team and TK can get his head out of his ass, I think we could see AEW. I can see one can be improved, and number two, if TK or hell, there's possibly we could see a Shane McMahon involvement had the balls to realize like, oh, this person, it's not over and whatnot. Look, I don't advocate for anybody losing their job in the pro wrestling business, but at some point you're going to have to realize, it's a cutthroat business. And we've talked. I think we talked to a few people.
It's very cutthroat. And the thing is, though, a lot of the talent, you're just only going to irritate them by not using them.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If they do decide to use them, they're in a one-off match in a filler for Dynamite, or something filler for Collision, or something.
And the next day you get your walking papers the following day, that sort of thing.
No, because it's not really they get their walking papers. It's like, all right, you had your use, go back in the toy box in a sense, because he basically books them like they're fucking action figures.
Yeah, that's true. But
you can't do that. You cannot do that.
Either way, but moving on. However, we do have some little news regarding Jamie Hayter. But good God, she's another.
I fucking miss her on my TV.
Yeah, it's kind of funny the fact that we don't dog her for being so green. And
we dogged her in the beginning for being so green, but she improved greatly that same year.
So
we have way better.
Oh, 100%.
She also got over. She also got fucking over.
Oh, for sure. But sticking with Jamie Hayter, though, we do have some new details that give some little bit of info that regarding her. Part of that's before we get into that. So AEW has been fortunate to have and that's another thing too, which also is, I think, really is what's going to help AEW, because now you got your main players coming back from injury, because that really kind of really fucking hurt AEW for obviously the good
handful of months, year.
Yeah, I was right, handful of months, because I can't put a number on it.
Handful of months to a year. Yeah.
I mean, you got when MJF came back, Kyle O'Reilly.
It didn't really move the needle that much, but it helped a little bit.
I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, I know his career. There was reports like his career was up, his future was up in question because I think a neck surgery. I think it was future neck surgery.
Yeah, but there was rumors that he might call it quits. But the thing is, it didn't happen. He came back. He's healthy. He wrestles.
Dr. Britt. Another one, Dr. Britt Baker, and I feel bad for
Dude,
her.
when she came out and said what went down with the whole, she had like this like Bell's palsy incident.
Yeah, the
It was
fact
called something else. It wasn't exactly Bell's palsy, but it was
I think
basically
it's
Bell's
TIA.
palsy.
I think she said
It was TIA or something. Where her whole side of her face got numb.
basically called it was like a mini stroke.
It was a mini stroke. It was basically Bell's palsy.
She had basically Bell's palsy, 2 herniated discs, a torn hip labrum, and Lord.
The reason why she was out for that long is because she had a laundry list of shit that went down.
Yeah.
So
and the only one that we're still hopefully wait to the return is Jamie Hayter. The former AEW Women's World Champion has been last seen at 2023 Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Now, yes, me and Tara had one of the biggest gripes with that. Unfortunately, dropped the belt so fucking quickly. And realized
the thing is, though, I understand why they did it because she was already hurt. She was already had that that arm injury.
Yeah, and she's been out of action more than a year with little to no word on the nature of the injury or when she went. Man, you know that. On Thursday, a new report from Fightful Select didn't really provide good news, but it did give us a little more information and perhaps the hope that Hayter might be back soon. So the report stated that Hayter was backstage at a recent episode of AEW Dynamite as the roster had to go undergo their yearly physicals. While it was noted that the talent that were not being used on being used on TV still had to show up for the physicals. Fightful claims that the feeling inside AEW that the backstage appearance indicated some positive movement and a potential recovery for Jamie Hayter. There's also a sense of optimism for a potential return for Hayter as far as some AEW talent concerned, primarily because her name has been brought up in match pitches in case she is cleared. So
basically, they checked on her at an AEW show. She's fine, and she might be coming back.
So, and Hayter is said to largely to be keeping to herself during her recovery. Rarely makes backstage appearances, which can contribute to the lack of information about her injury and rehabilitation. While there has been discussion of possibly returning by the end of 2024, there is still no official timetable. Though Fightful sources in AEW remain broadly confident that she will return at some point. So, either way, we still, like I said, that can. At least that's somewhat good news. Slight, I would say.
It's slight, but you can tell, like, okay, they checked on her. She should be good to go by the end of this year, probably sooner because they're already pitching matches. And she's gonna be good. I think she's gonna be back sometime soon. From the sound of it.
So, last and final thing before we get out of here. Mina Shirakawa reacts to Mariah May's gruesome heel turn in AEW's closing angle. Before we get to that, god damn! Look, I thought Tony was going to be the one to turn, but you did it with Mariah May. I'm intrigued where that's.
But it wasn't only a heel turn. You made her fully fucking psycho. She was psycho.
I'm very intrigued of what AEW is going to do going forward with this, wherever this new version of Mariah May we're going to be getting. Because good God.
You had her hit her with the belt. She's already bleeding. Tony's already bleeding from it. Then you had her grab the fucking heel and stab her in the head repeatedly with it.
Yeah, and bathe in her own blood. That's
then you rubbed her blood from her face onto your face like a complete psychopath.
So Mina, and because they actually, and credit to Wrestling Inc., they actually shared a Twitter post from Mina Shirakawa says, no, like I'm not gonna really scream it out loud. I can't sweat out my feelings. So she, in a way, she's kind of sounds like she's disappointed.
I feel like it's because she's a face. That whole storyline, is Mariah's really fucking swerving both of them. Really, like,
yeah,
she swerved both of them. Like, she used Mina Shirakawa as like a pawn caused a little bit of dissension between the three.
Yeah.
And then now you have this like Tony thing where she attacks Tony, and Mina ain't happy about it.
So like I said, I'm intrigued to see how where this is going to go down.
This the witchy one? Hold on.
No, this is somebody different.
Somebody different. Yeah. The witchy one is
that's Abigail. Sister Abigail.
No, the witchy one. You're talking about AW. Yeah, the witchy one. That's different. Whole different company.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking Mariah May went full fucking psycho.
And for those who have not, because literally, who have not checked it out on TikTok, I had the clip already uploaded. And yes, I know it had showed the full.
Did you get that shit fucking copyrighted? You can post clips there.
Yeah, on TikTok's no problem.
Any next clip that you post about like AWW, like if anything miraculous happens, send it to me so I can post it on my TikTok.
Yeah. But Alec, we're English.
We are English. I can't speak a lick of Spanish. I'm sorry, brother.
Other than that, that is going to wrap it up for the 79th episode. Jesus Christ. 79th episode.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I had a thought and I fucking forgot the thought.
Oh, Lord. Well, there's a brain fart for every. There's a blue.
Here's what I was going to say. I was going to add to the heel turn. The heel turn itself was so unexpected that it made it great. Because everybody I read on Twitter, the general consensus on Twitter, general consensus from wrestling fans were just like, oh, I thought Tony was gonna be the one to turn heel. They weren't. No one expected Mariah. No one.
No.
Because the way she was presenting herself leading up to the heel turn, you could have thought that she was a fucking babyface.
Oh, 100%.
The way she was acting. So it was like, you thought that she would be the one turning face, getting her heart broken by Tony. Not the other way around. And that's what made it great, was you didn't expect it. They just threw
and the fact you made her a psychotic human being in its own way that just spices it up anymore. So,
like, they threw a fucking curveball and it stuck. Like, it was great.
Which, good Lord, when was the last time? Now, I'm going to ask this too. When was the last time AEW has ever done that? It's been a while since they done that sort of thing.
I don't remember last time they did that, and it was just like.
Either way, whoever booked that, that's a
like.
If Mariah
was the one if Mariah and Tony were the ones that pitched that, oh, we're gonna make Mariah seem like a babyface this entire storyline, and then we're gonna throw this curveball where she turns on you, or she turns on Tony. Like it was just wonderfully done. Whoever pitched it, you were geniuses.
Oh, 100%.
You were a fucking genius, and it was well done because everybody was shocked. Everyone didn't expect it, but it was phenomenal.
Honestly, if AEW can keep doing those in a different sporadic amount of time, I think AEW can end up being a slow process and getting back to what they once had. But it's going to take some time.
All they really got to do is like say no to some storylines that sound fucking stupid. That's all. That's all they got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus
Christ, what the fuck was that?
Sorry, I didn't even realize how to burp coming on until my apologies.
Absolutely.
But besides that, appreciate you guys hanging out with me and Tyler for the 79th episode of the It's Running podcast. So, good Lord, we're 21 episodes away from 100. Good Lord.
21 away from 100.
Yeah. It's been fun. Like I said, talk about pro wrestling as a whole, its entirety is fun. It's been nothing but short of fun. And also, I want to give a shout out to everyone who actually stuck with me throughout this entire journey. Throughout this
No,
entire show's history, before even coming along,
it
and
was
kind of
it was
really,
originally me and somebody else, and then me and this other person had a falling out, and then me and Rob, we were the de facto hosts after that, and we ran with it, and we used to be on Anchor. That's why you're
yeah,
like
that
other
was
hosts. I thought it was only you and Rob the entire time. No, we were on Anchor before, the Anchor app, and it just did not work well there. We didn't get much of a reach there. Here we got way more of a reach.
yeah.
We went from 5 listeners an episode to a few hundred an episode. Now we're pushing for a few thousand an episode, but we'll get there. But a few hundred an episode is just awesome because you guys interact in the chat, like you guys interact, and we love that you guys interact and
And we
stuff like
appreciate you guys
that.
actually finding it through
We appreciate it. We appreciate you guys for doing that. We also love you guys for sticking in. We also got new people along the way too. We got some new people.
Oh yeah, you ain't wrong on that one.
Like today we got new people. Shout out Alec. Shout out Miss Prestone, the goddess of Big D. I think he's new. Stephen Chambers.
And we got some.
He was fairly new.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get new people. We get new people every single time now. It's really cool. We meet some cool people along the way. So again, thank you guys for sticking with us for 79 episodes. Let's reach that 100. Let's reach that 100 very soon, guys. And again, we fucking love you guys.
We do these every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4:00 on the West Coast for our West Coast viewers. Yep. Definitely share this out for sure. If you guys like pro wrestling talk, and yes, we'll ramble on to different things, but that's kind of the beauty of this show. And obviously,
there's times where we just go on a tangent about something else that we forget what topic we were talking about. We have to circle back at times. Yeah. But it also helped me grow. The channel helped me grow, and a lot of criticisms from people help me grow and help us grow.
Well, because Tyler, too. The thing is too,
before when I first did the podcast on Anchor, I was fucking awkward.
Well, that's no surprise.
Sorry. When you first meet me, I'm fucking awkward. Yeah,
sorry.
You're right.
I had to take a little bit of a shot. Then again, dude,
I've been taking a shot if it's true.
But hey, look, and take it from me. And I was awkward too when I first, because I didn't know what the fuck to do.
But here's the thing, though. My brain turns off, and that's also not shocking.
Well, that's
a dig at myself.
Thank you.
But yeah, I had to write shit down, and writing shit down helped.
It does.
And you write the topics down too, because your brain lapses too. Everybody's brain lapses at times,
Well, not compared to how my brain is always the fucking blue screen of fucking death, as most you have.
But here's the thing, though, Rob. You made it through a stream today. You made
Shocker.
You made it through. Luckily, we didn't have to do anything later tonight because it's Saturday. But you made it through a fucking stream. I'm proud of you, bro. Your brain didn't lapse.
Honestly, I think and this is something too, and this is another accomplishment too that we kind of hit too. We did consistent grinding for the last 3.5 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. And also, I've upped the promotion game a bit, and it's helped tremendously. We used to get double digits. We barely got any views, and then now we're getting triple digits. It's growing as well.
And we're also constantly adding.
We're adding new content, things. And also, we did release a video on here yesterday. If y'all don't know, we need please watch that. It was a fun little video
check that out.
Did. It was a tier list video, so please check that out if you can. But again though, we fucking love you guys. Y'all showed us nothing but love. There's been a few times where people hate, but there's been.
That comes with the territory.
It comes with the territory. When you're an entertainer, you get hate. It happens. But you don't. But
Yeah.
you gotta learn to just not pay attention to that shit. You know.
And to the haters, we got 2 words for you. Suck it. Well, with that being said, guys, appreciate you guys hanging out. If you guys new, make sure to
And
like,
also,
subscribe, share
I
this
got
out.
4 words for you. Check out my ass. Sorry, I had to.
But with that being said, guys, have a good night, everybody.
Peace.